why it's okay to slow down sometimes. Why is it okay? And maybe you listening to this video may not think it is okay to slow down sometimes. And I hope that isn't the case, but if it is, maybe I can change your mind a little bit. But recently I have found that my days, my weeks, and my months go by way too fast. And my weeks go by fast enough. Going to work every single day isn't as riveting as I hoped it would be. But how can we slow down our life to where we actually start to enjoy the smaller things, the finer moments, being present? We live in a culture where everybody's telling us just to go, go, go. Busy is good. Busy is great. Everybody says, "Oh, I'm just so busy. I'm just so busy," and we kind of applaud that. But what if we change our mindset and say, you know what? Maybe it's okay to not be busy. And I might be in the minority here, but I actually want my days to not be busy at all. And I know not everybody can do that. My mom, for example, that would drive her insane, drive her absolutely insane. But for me, I actually kind of like just having time to myself. And, if something comes up, if there's somebody that wants to make last second plans, I would be able to do that. Which I like, I kind of like the spontaneous parts of life as well. But, so much of, these gurus on social media or just people you see on YouTube or wherever, the whole goal is to do everything as fast as possible. For example, I'll be driving on the interstate. I'll have somewhere to go. I'll be going to work or something like that. And people are going like 25 over, 30 over the speed limit. And I feel like that's kind of how we live our lives sometimes. Is we wake up, we go to work, and we live our day going 25, 30 miles an hour over the speed limit. And I think that gets hard to do long term, because while our days go by fast, while our weeks and our months and our years go by fast as well, I think when we look back on a year, like if I look back on 2024, I can't really tell you much about it. I worked. I did a couple things. I tried some new hobbies, but maybe I didn't appreciate that year as much as I could have. So for this year, 2025, I want to slow my life down. And how I'm doing that is I'm trying to be more in the moment. I talked in a previous video about cutting down on social media, the doom scrolling, what I'm doing to avoid that. But also just trying to almost make myself bored. And when you make yourself bored, then your mind starts to think a little bit. It's like, well, what could I be doing that's maybe more productive? And, there's also this mindset about we have to be productive 24 hours of the day. I think that mindset should also hit the road, because I think it's okay to sit. And I mean, honestly, you could sit and stare at a wall if you wanted to, but I think there's some clarity that you'll get by just sitting and thinking. And I think the first couple times you try it, it'll drive you insane, because we're used to, sitting with a phone in our hand and just looking at media. But I think when you actually sit and you think about your life and the things you want to change and how you're going to go about doing those things, I think it brings a lot of clarity. It's something you can strive for. And I think it's something that I am looking to do a little bit more in my life as well. And so why I think it's okay to slow down is not just a reason to make your days feel longer, or make your life feel, I don't want to say boring, because it can be boring at first, but I think it's a great way to just be present and be in the moment. And, when you're hanging out with your close friends, your relatives, your spouse, whatever it may be, I feel like you'll start cherishing those moments a little bit better. Another thing I want to stop doing this year is try to, of course, be in the moment. But with being in the moment comes not thinking too far ahead. Sometimes when I'm doing something, sometimes when I'm at work, or actually a lot of times when I'm at work, is I'm thinking about what I'm doing after I'm getting off. I'm thinking about the weekend, all the things I have to do around the house. And I think we lose touch with what we're doing in the present moment. And I think if we be more intentional about the things that we're doing currently, I think that'll help alleviate our mind, help us think a little bit more clearly, and hopefully maybe avoid some anxiety. I feel like there's a lot of anxiety that comes with thinking too far ahead, planning your day to where you don't even get a second to breathe. I'm going to make a video here shortly about meditation and how that's really helped me just slow my mind down. But in a world where everything just has to be so fast, I think some of our best thoughts come from doing things slow. And I'm not saying you go out drive on 40 miles an hour on the highway, or you become late to things, or you just don't care about things, because that's definitely not it. But what I will say is to anybody listening, start intentionally being a little bit more bored. Next time you sit down, be in the moment a little bit longer. Don't pull your phone out right away. Just sit there for a couple minutes. Just reflect on your day, on your life. Was today a good day? If it was, great. How can you make it a good day every day? And, if today wasn't a good day, what are the things that you can do to make today, tomorrow, a little bit better? But try not to get too crazy with it. I know we all have our goals and things that we want to accomplish in our life. And we got to take those day by day. You end up looking too far ahead, and you miss out on the 1% of growth that you can achieve today, the things that you can do today, the things that you can be intentional about today that will help you get to that goal, maybe even faster. Honestly, because it's hard. It's hard looking at a goal that's really far away and thinking about what you have to grind out today. And I think if you look too far ahead, that goal will look more like Mount Everest. While if you look at it day by day, it'll look more like, maybe a little hill. Climbing that hill is something that, maybe sucks a little bit in the present, but each day you climb that hill, you look back in a week or a month, and you're halfway up the mountain. And I'm getting very what's the word? Just abstract, maybe. I'm getting very abstract. But I think this can be applied to so many things in your life. So if you take anything away from this video, I would just really focus on slowing down. I've just been trying to slow down my life, which, you can only do so much. You still have to go to work. You still have other responsibilities. But ultimately, just be in the moment. Be intentional about your alone time. Your mind will start to wander, but I guarantee you, if you take control of your mind, you'll start thinking clearly. You'll start really living each day a little bit more clearer. When you have that time to think, while time may go by a little bit slower, I think you'll look back at the end of your day, week, or month, and you'll look, happily upon what you accomplished or what moves that you made during that period of time that you're looking back on. So, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them in the comments. That's kind of what I'm trying to do with my life. Just slow down, enjoy the moment. Don't let the world tell you that you have to live your life at 100 miles an hour. Going the speed limit is actually very okay, both in reality, but also in life as well. So ultimately, thanks for watching. I hope you find your clarity in the chaotic world that we have today, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.